Japan, anime news, powered by Newtype. Well, we're starting to hear whispers of July approaching. You might think, but June hasn't even arrived yet. But in the anime industry, April, July, October, and January mark the seasonal transitions. Today, we'll mainly be sharing the latest information about anime series premiering in July. This is Naoki Yoshida, Nippon Broadcasting System announcer for May. This podcast delivers anime news to the world, based on the latest anime information gathered by KADOKAWA's anime magazine, Newtype editorial department. We broadcast Japanese anime trends and anime culture to global audiences. By the way, Web Newtype has updated the cast roundtable discussion for the TV anime The Young Lady, Blessed by the Gorilla, God is Adored by the Royal Knights. Please check it out. That one really makes quite an impact, you know. I wonder if there's as much to talk about as the cast members suggest in their roundtable, so we're recording this program on May 12th. We are using the multilingual voice translation tool Lingueene for translation. So please note that languages other than Japanese may contain inaccurate expressions as they are translated by AI. Now, for this week, let's start with anime premiering in July. First up is Dandadan Season 2. The first promotional video for the second season has been released. It's scheduled to begin airing on July 3rd. You know, since the original manga has such great artwork, I'm reminded again how challenging it must be to match that quality. The PV features the mysterious underwear guy and that strange monster with the wide open mouth that appeared in the key visual released in April. It also includes keywords like inescapable, underground battle, and strongest enemy. Yes, indeed. Science Saru is truly amazing, once again. Yes, an Ugly Yet Strong Fighter is set to begin airing on July 6th. The manga Ugly Yet Strong Fighter, which was serialized in monthly Big Gangan from 2017 to 2021, will be adapted into an anime starting July 6th. Originally, this manga was based on a light novel that was first published on the Let's Become a Novelist website before being adapted into comic form. The story follows Shigeru Yoshioka, who became a jobless shut-in due to false accusations. He gains cheat-level abilities in another world in exchange for his looks and begins his second life as an absolute god. However, he has one weakness. His HP decreases whenever he touches a girl. That's incredible. The stereotypical portrayal of an ugly guy is just outrageous. A while back, we had My Love Story, which was about, what if a guy who looks like this actually behaves like a gentleman? This time, it's about someone with godlike abilities, but whose appearance makes you go, whoa! The voice is Suwabe-san, Junichi Suwabe. Suwabe-san was also the one in that Around 40 shopping channel thing recently, wasn't he? What is it about him? Is he just cool? No, wait, is it that people want both the realistic middle-aged guy in his 40s and 50s? That's often the case, isn't it? Something like that. I guess it means everyone thinks Suwabe-san can pull off both sides. But even so, he's two-sided Sukuna. That makes him the strongest, after all. So, the voice actor this time is, well, Suwabe-san. The director is Toshiyuki Sone, and Kenta Ihara is handling series composition, the one who worked on Saga of Tanya the Evil and others. Animation production is by White Fox, so this definitely isn't the type of show I'd skip. It's the kind of work where I want to watch at least one episode and think, I see. Now, Arknights Season 3 has begun airing on July 4th. TV anime Arknights Season 3 started broadcasting on July 4th. Season 1 aired in 2022 and Season 2 in 2023. The global version operated by Yostar has surpassed 10 million downloads, right? It has indeed exceeded that number. This is the TV anime adaptation of the popular mobile game Arknights, with the opening theme End of Days by Reona. Not Leona, but Reona. And the ending theme song is Truth by singer-songwriter Itoki Hana, if I'm getting that right. Next up is Onmyo Kaiten Rebirth, premiering July 2nd. Yes, this is from David Production, the high-quality studio behind JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Fire Force. Their completely original anime, Onmyo Kaiten Rebirth, is confirmed to start on July 2nd at 12:45 a.m. on Fuji TV's Psultra block and other channels. The plot follows a delinquent high school student named Takeru, who, after an accident, is transported to Dengi Heian-kyo. There, he meets a girl named Tsukimiya, and repeatedly time leaps to save her life while confronting threats that endanger Dengi Heian-kyo. Isn't that a lot of elements? Delinquent, Dengi Heian-kyo, time leaping and all that. Naturally, this must include some onmyoji elements, right? Being an original anime, you can't tell from the title alone, but this seems like a really dense, packed show. a delinquent isekai story with onmyoji battles, is actually the official catchphrase on their website. I wonder how they're going to balance the delinquent and onmyoji elements. Additionally, let me share information about a theatrical anime release in August, separate from the TV anime starting in July. The theatrical anime as one will be released on August 22nd. This is directed by Kubun Shizuno. You know, the Detective Conan series has entered this incredible hot streak mode lately, and Mr. Shizuno is the key figure behind that transformation. Since he started working on the series, Conan has become something absolutely phenomenal. Before that, he directed Knights of Sidonia, which was completely produced in full CG. Now this same Kubun Shizuno is directing the feature-length theatrical anime As One, scheduled for release on August 22nd. This is Starwing Paradox, a robot action game that ran in arcades from 2018 to 2021. I'm sorry, but I've never actually played it. Maybe I've seen it around? For people who frequent arcades, it's a completely original story set in the same universe, featuring all new characters, with Yoshiyuki Sadamoto handling the character designs just like in the original game. It definitely has that original feel, and they seem to use plenty of CG, but I wonder if it's not just CG alone. So Sadamoto is the one who did the Evangelion characters, right? Well, yes, but he also did Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, and even Summer Wars too. When you think about it, that's really impressive. Truly impressive when you consider it. So, the plot follows Yo, a high school student aspiring to be a musician while struggling with relationships in modern-day Earth. He has a fateful dimension-crossing encounter in the consciousness of Rako, a robot mechanic from the planet Meguri Star, where two major nations are in conflict over an energy resource called Hoshinochi. Rako has fallen into a coma after an accident. But wait, these worlds don't connect at all, right? That's the point? This is it? The scale is quite epic, isn't it? And there are 3 writers credited for the screenplay? Plus, there's Shatner Nishida, who works in theater, right? Those screenplay writers certainly have plenty to write about beyond stage productions. There are a lot of different systems at work here. What kind of production is this? I mean, I can see from the music video that the visuals are beautiful, but I really can't imagine what type of show this is without watching it. That's what's great about original works, you know? And now for other noteworthy news, starting with the announcement of details for Love Live's new project, Ikizu Live. New information has been released about Ikizu Live, the latest project in the Love Live series, Love Live Bluebird. Are they really going with that title? I guess they figured they might as well go with something bold. The story revolves around 10 high school students at Internet High School Love Academy, nicknamed L School. This is an online high school, you know, similar to how N School, S School, and R School have been established recently. These online schools have become so incredibly successful that they're practically dominating the entire distance learning sector. Actually, my daughter is an S School graduate, from the very first class, in fact. I'm currently teaching at Zen University, an online university created by the same KADOKAWA Dwango Academy. So this new project is a school idol project woven together by these 10 high school students. They're really going for it. Ikizu Live. I guess that means it's hard to live, right? Character name. They've done their research properly. First-year students at L School Asakusa Satellite. That's right. You know that online high school, right? Their campuses are all scattered. They're all over the country. That's why I was even serving as a special advisor for the quiz club at N-High. When you run a quiz club, you know how they have those high school quiz competitions nationwide. And usually, schools represent their prefecture, right? Like Narato Daiji Academy and such. But N-High can enter multiple teams because they have locations everywhere. They have N-High entering regional preliminaries from various prefectures. Their weakness is that it's difficult to gather 3 students in one place. Yeah, it's true. Everyone's in different locations this time, places like Fukui and Umeda. Oh, I see. Well, it seems like this will be something completely different. Asakusa Satellite. They've also announced the voice actors, I see. Yes. And then, in a completely different direction, Kyosuke Usuta World Exhibition has been announced. It's a festival. Kyosuke Usuta World Exhibition celebrates the 30th anniversary of Amazing Masaru-san and the 25th anniversary of Pew to Fuku Jaguar, which were only 5 years apart, I just realized. The exhibition will be held at Sunshine City in Ikebukuro, Tokyo from August 9th. Original artwork, comic book covers, and color illustrations from chapter title pages will be on display. Items that appeared in the manga will also be featured, and they'll even recreate the Jaguar Presents disappointing illusion from Pew to Fuku Jaguar, so visitors can experience the disappointment for themselves. So yeah, lately, it really feels like there's a bit of a competition to see how far they can go with stuff, from the era when everyone was reading Jump. When you actually hold these kinds of events, watching the fans who come saying, so these are the kind of people who like this, is often the most interesting part. Personally, I recently went to that Space Battleship Yamato exhibition, and I really felt like there were so many people there who seemed like the post-war Japanese who supported Japan through those years. Yeah. By the way, I'm curious about the merchandise. Oh yeah, the merchandise is interesting. I wonder what they'll have. When they did Kota Hirano's event, they deliberately made items that nobody would want, and then those ended up being incredibly popular. There's been this trend lately where things you'd think nobody wants end up selling well, like how Aomori Prefecture made that impossibly difficult Rubik's Cube thing that's been selling abnormally well. That kind of thing happens now. Now there's news about the Machi Asobi event opening after a 1.5-year hiatus. This is an anime event that for some reason takes place in Tokushima. The reason being that Ufotable is based there. You know, the studio that created Demon Slayer. On May 10th, the multi-format event Machi Asobi Volume 28 was held. This event had been running regularly before, but due to various changes in the management team and other issues, it had been on hold. It used to be held twice a year, but that schedule had stopped. Now it's finally restarted after a long break. From this time forward, instead of being funded by Tokushima Prefecture's budget, it's being operated primarily by the NPO Machi Asobi, with subsidies from Tokushima Prefecture. I guess this means there's been a change in how the money is being handled compared to before. It's not that they weren't receiving money from the prefecture previously. They're still getting funding this time too, but the way the money is being provided has changed. That's probably what this means. So, as a new measure to sustain the event, they tried initiatives like setting up paid seating areas for some of the stages. And then, well, I actually went all the way to Tokushima to host the press conference announcing the formation of the NPO Machi Asobi and its fresh start. But for some reason, I didn't go to the main event itself. Wait, that's strange. I wonder if there's some reason why the people from NPO Machi Asobi didn't invite me at all. For the opening ceremony, my podcast co-host Eriko Nakamura, who serves as the Tokushima Anime Ambassador, will be appearing as the MC. I recently discovered that there are actually jobs where they book either Eriko Nakamura or me, like this one. I just found out that for the stage greeting of the movie Space Battleship Yamato Level 31999, Eriko Nakamura was the host for the opening day. Apparently, she had another commitment for the second day, so the job that spilled over from her schedule came to me. I guess since Nakamura had this schedule conflict, she ended up being the MC for the opening ceremony. After all, I'm not a Tokushima anime ambassador yet. So that's what I was up to this time, and also, there's this person named Yanase, who attends the same graduate seminar as me, who produces the over-the-top anime Jashin-chan Dropkick. This time, they also had an event called City Exploration Sauna, where you can watch the show in a sauna, with Yuri Kozakai, who plays the role of Pekora. So basically, my acquaintance is doing whatever they want in Tokushima. Sounds fun though, and that's all for the news this week. What's with the emails this week? Did you all plan this together? Was it because of Golden Week? But you've been sending them even after Golden Week ended, haven't you? Amazingly, I've received 5 emails. Why? Why at this timing? But let's go through them quickly. So, moving right along, let's start with a regular listener. Hello, Yoshida-san. This is Kapeine. Thank you. Last time I was so happy to receive lots of emails and see the number of regular listeners growing. You know, for a long time it was like everyone was just leaving messages on Kape-san's answering machine, right? That was the image. It's becoming like a message board now, like I'm just reading from a bulletin board. I always enjoy listening to Barcelonian-san's stories. In the previous episode, there was a discussion about Ghost in the Shell. Back in the 1990s, it was extremely difficult to purchase or rent Japanese anime in stores or video rental shops in America. However, Mamoru Oshii's Ghost in the Shell was relatively accessible on VHS tape, and I remember watching it countless times after buying it. If I recall correctly, it actually topped the charts in America. Ghost in the Shell was a sales hit. I remember wearing out the tape and having to buy it twice. And later, the DVD as well. I first saw Ghost in the Shell at a special screening event at Shibuya Public Hall before its official release. That event was actually sponsored by Nippon Broadcasting. And then, from around 2000 to the early 2010s, early Netflix primarily operated by mailing DVDs to customers. That's the kind of service Netflix used to be. They had very few anime titles available back then. Skycrawlers was the film when I first interviewed director Mamoru Oshii. The conversation was so fascinating that the director decided to extend my appearance from 1 week to 2. That must have been around 2000, or the early to mid-2000s. Since then, I've interviewed director Oshii probably about 10 times on various topics, as an Oshii fan. So it's been over 15 years since 2008, and despite interviewing him sporadically about 10 times, Oshii still doesn't recognize who I am, which I find genuinely hilarious. I hope it stays this way. Personally, I think that's so Oshii. As an Oshii fan, I've watched everything from his massive global hits to works like Blood, The Last Vampire that probably nobody else has seen. P.S. I remember that for some reason I couldn't find the DVD of Innocence, released in 2004 in stores, and ended up watching it several years later. It's been over 20 years already, hasn't it? I saw this at a Toho preview screening. I remember it clearly. The visuals were stunning. While I thought, wow, it's amazing they made something like this, I also felt that Oshii-san really had no intention of making it understandable to people who wouldn't get it. But personally, I thought it was brilliant. So, since they sent us that story, let's move on to our next regular listener, Barcelonian Co. Apparently, they tried shouting Vegeta's special move, Final Flash, in Catalan, and... Oh! I forgot to print out the email title earlier. It was written in the email title, so let's have Matsuzaki bring it over when he can. In the meantime, I'll read ahead. Dragon Ball is known worldwide, and in Barcelona where I live, it has been rebroadcast numerous times. I've watched the Catalan dubbed version, but as a Japanese person accustomed to the original Japanese version, there were some parts that felt a bit strange to me. First, let's talk about character names. While many characters keep their original names, Piccolo and Piccolo Daimao are called Corpetti in this version. Directly translated, it means small heart, perhaps suggesting a demon without a heart. But what felt most jarring was that Gohan is called by his full name Son Gohan by both his birth father Goku and his mentor Piccolo. It seems they didn't realize that Son is actually the family name. Ah, I see now. There are some interesting attack names too. The opening Final Flash is translated as Fi Multal, where Fi means ignorance and Multal means tremendous, so it essentially means tremendous ignorance. However, Fi is also the name of a salami food product, and Multal can also mean lethal dose, so Vegeta is essentially shouting lethal salami. I see. A lethal dose of salami. That's certainly something. There are many other moments that feel off, like when characters are powering up but show absolutely no fighting spirit, which completely deflates the tension. But I think there's some fun to be had in spotting these differences from the original. I've heard of that. Captain Tsubasa is super popular overseas, but I think they call him Auntie or something. The names are completely different over there, right? Yeah. What was the title again? According to this Barcelonian cat, it's Fe Multar. Is that right? They sent it to us with the title Fe Multar, a lethal dose of salami. How is this translated in Lingueene right now? Thank you very much. Now moving on, we've received some "What are you watching this season?" type messages. Good evening, Yoppie. This is Forte, aspiring to become a regular emailer. Please feel free to write in anytime. Regarding this season's anime, since I'm a Gundam fan, I'm following Zeta Gundam. Episodes 4 and 5 were absolutely shocking, and I'm super excited for episode 6 onwards. By the way, my favorite Gundam is the Cluster Gundam. I'm also planning to watch Lazarus. I absolutely love Cowboy Bebop, so I'm really looking forward to it. Besides these, do you have any other anime recommendations? I'd like to discover something new, so I'm not particular about genres and willing to try anything. Also, do you have any tips for finding time to watch anime? Having to focus on a screen for almost 30 minutes feels like a high hurdle, and I've been reluctant to start lately. I'd love to talk more about what anime we're watching this season. Take care of yourself, and I'm looking forward to your next stream. Why make it such a big deal? Can't you just play it and be done with it? Of course, it's probably better to watch the whole thing, but even with anime that's not work-related for me, I mean, I'll watch properly if I need to talk about it professionally. Otherwise, I just casually watch thinking, oh, that's nice or whatever. I think the creators probably intend it that way, so there's nothing disrespectful about that approach. Now, when it comes to recommendations, we have radio name Drinking Rock listener. Actually, this takes place in Ginza. And the fact that it's set in Ginza made me, as a local, think this is totally my neighborhood during the Idomai Elf series. Since Ginza is next to Tsukiji and Tsukishima, I recognized almost every location that appeared. I felt the same way watching March Comes In Like a Lion. This time with Galaxy Wolf, I watched thinking, the town where I used to live, my hometown, is being destroyed. Though to be fair, Ginza tends to get destroyed quite often. Yeah. Right, Godzilla typically appears in Ginza. When I went to see Shin Godzilla with my daughter, we talked about how our house got destroyed in the movie. So far, we've been moving along quickly, but here we have a message from a listener with the radio name Yuzu Kuma Arashi Space Decapon, who sent us an incredibly long email, about 3 pages worth. Thank you for that, Yappy. You're already a bit of a workaholic, but this year, you've had your academic studies piled on top of everything else, haven't you? That's right, I'm attending graduate school. For Yoppy, who probably hasn't had time to check out the new anime this season, I'm sending you reviews of my personally recommended spring anime. I can already tell this is going to be a long message before I even start writing, so please feel free to skim through it as you see fit. Should we pick through it? Should we pick through it? First, Catch at the Ballpark. Yeah, it's an omnibus format. Just when you think it might be a heart-throbbing romantic comedy, turns out that's what it is. Ah, and yes, casting Rika Tachibana as the wife of a veteran player who comes to the stadium to cheer secretly behind her husband's back is truly a wicked production choice. I mean, Rika Tachibana actually married a professional baseball player in real life. The team mascot has superhuman abilities on par with Gachapin. There's something going on here. Just from this text alone, I can't tell since I haven't seen it yet. And then there's the alien Mumu. Aliens ex-home appliances, ex-cats. These outrageous combinations are like improv comedy prompts, and they're absolutely fantastic. The explanations of electronics that even liberal arts majors can understand get high marks. I see. In the show, they repair appliances or modify hacking gadgets at their own risk, which is incredibly fascinating. Both the opening and ending are wonderful, but especially the ending Goodbye Humanity, sung by Sakurako and Mumu, is such a divine cover. I've been seeing this kind of thing quite often lately, like covers of songs everyone knows. The creators are mostly in their 40s, which is interesting in today's context. Then there's Uma Musume Cinderella Grey. This time it's using the Oguri Cap system, right? You know how Oguri Cap rises up from Kasamatsu Racecourse, don't you? It says here that Mitsuhashi Michio's new Kasamatsu Ondo, suddenly playing at Kasamatsu Racecourse, is unfair, but how does that even happen in the story? Next, I'm the villainous lord of the interstellar nation. Apparently, this one exploits blind spots in the isekai reincarnation genre. Oh, by the way, in the first episode, the protagonist Liam's previous life, played by Miyata from Kiss My FT2, is incredibly tragic. The supporting characters are supposedly quite interesting. Then there's Zatsutabi, Casual Journey. The stability of travel anime this season, alongside the Yamanashi-focused anime series, is just incredible. By the way, I've been watching a bit of the Yamanashi one myself. I haven't properly checked out Zatsutabi yet. Days pass, but food is delicious. Now this one I have watched, rather intensely. Moazuki-chan is giving her all as the mascot character Mokotaro, a costumed food video creator who's doing a great job as the show's mascot. That's Mono Azuki, right? Is this what Moazuki-chan, who used to do those big eating challenges, is up to now? Yes, indeed. And then there's Yua Forma. To be honest, it's a light novel adaptation that's a real information-heavy series that kills newcomers and first-time viewers. But with the Hanazawa and Kensho combo, it's definitely entertaining. I see. If you're a fan of Psycho-Pass, you'll probably find this irresistible. Everyone keeps talking about Yua Forma, but I still haven't watched it yet. Yeah, that about covers it. I've watched shows like Ninkoro and Witch Watch where people die way too casually. I've seen Phantom Star in the Countryside, Gorilla Spirit Ground. Actually, I haven't watched that one yet. I've watched Demon Person Lantern Show and Unsharely. I also watch easy-to-digest short animations like Raccoon Cow Dance and Everyday Host. With Everyday Host, I basically only register the songs that Kiriwin makes and Shimono sings. So that's my update on all the shows I've been watching. Thank you. Captain Tsubasa. Oh, it's actually Olive et Tom over there. Olive and Tom. Olive is Tsubasa. Tom is Wakabayashi. I wonder what kind of thinking goes into choosing these localized names. When Japanese people see foreign content, we don't really arbitrarily assign Japanese names to characters. We don't do that much, do we? Maybe not many foreign animations come to Japan. with TV dramas and such, the titles do get changed sometimes, right? Well, I guess changing the title is somewhat acceptable since it's just translation, but changing character names is... what's that about? That almost never happens in Japan, does it? Or does it? Especially with animation. Like, we wouldn't deliberately change Tom and Jerry to something like Jiro and Sasuke, would we? I wonder why that is. Japanese people are very accepting of foreign things. And I think having katakana script is a big reason for that. We can just adopt foreign words using katakana. Meanwhile, foreigners don't understand things like son gohan. They're like, sun and rice? What's that about? Plus, they wouldn't know that Gohan was named that way because all the previous characters were named after food items. They just wouldn't get it. They'd probably be thinking, what are you even talking about? That's when I realized Japanese people have this incredibly broad capacity for acceptance because of katakana. By the way, from an anthropological perspective, the Japanese archipelago was the final destination for human migration. Everyone traveled, right? Starting from Africa, people journeyed outward, but there's nowhere to go beyond Japan. There's not much significant land beyond it. So I've been reflecting on how Japanese culture seems to absorb and accept all kinds of things. So here, we're accepting emails from all over the world at the email address janime@totes42.com, and we can translate languages other than Japanese. At this stage, today's AI is really amazing. Translation capabilities have improved tremendously, which is quite something. When posting on social media, please use the hashtag #AShiyanJanime, and we're waiting for your emails at janime@242.com. We'll be back next week with the latest anime news. This has been Hisanori Yoshida, announcer for Nippon Broadcasting.